All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode number 4. Wow. Already to episode number 4 already of Next Gen Burnouts. I'm your host, Logan Hammer, and I got my co-host, Jordan Pennington, with me.
How's everyone doing? I got my co-host Logan here with me, your host Jordan, just checking in over here in Phoenix, Arizona. Not exactly Phoenix, but you get the gist.
You know what's up.
We watched Atlanta today. Watched a race in Atlanta. What do we think? We're just going to get right into it. Just initial shot out of a cannon. What do we think there?
Honestly, out of a 10, probably give it about 6.5.
6.5. Okay.
It was better. I mean, we didn't watch Phoenix, on the TV or anything like that. We're in person, but I thought it was better, at least than Phoenix.
I thought the last 40 laps were better than any of the racing that was happening in Phoenix. The last 40 laps of this race was fantastic. If we would have got that for the whole duration of the race, this would have been a stellar race, but unfortunately we didn't.
It's kind of funny, as we're talking about good races and stuff, I'm just going to say it, but so far, the best races have been Fontana.
Think so?
I easily think so. Las Vegas was a snooze fest, so was Phoenix.
Las Vegas was bad.
Montana, and then Atlanta was today, so yeah, out of all of them, I'd definitely say Montana was the best, and Kyle Busch won, so,
Yeah, I mean, as a couple of Busch fans, we're not going to complain about that, but I think if somehow they could bottle the last 40 laps of this race and just, lightning in a bottle was able to just somehow, that is what we see 80% of the time, NASCAR would be in a great spot. But unfortunately, not the case. Do you want to talk about maybe any individual drivers you were eyeballing? 'Cause I know there was one towards the end there that almost pulled it out. I think you know which man we're talking about here, and that King's Hawaiian.
Yeah, that King's Hawaiian. Well, I'm just going to start it off. We're going to do it a little bit different today, but we're going to shot out of the cannon. We're going to talk about our picks. Me and Jordan played it very close today with our picks. I apologize.
Certainly.
It was a very busy Monday. Morning. We were watching F1 and stuff, so we shot out our picks very late. We do apologize, but we got them out before the race started. I'll just go on and say my
really
pick,
quick.
Yeah.
I just want to say too, our picks were done separately. Even though there was some overlap, they were done completely separately. So just throwing that out there.
Good point. I did not see his at all.
Nope.
He didn't see mine. It's just
Nope.
kind of happened to be similar, but
Way the cookie
I
comes.
said Logan is locked in for Atlanta. I had Keselowski, Harvick, and Blaney. My manufacturer was Ford, and then my dark horse was Reddick. And I'm just going to go down the line with it. Keselowski, number 2. I'll get into that a little bit later. Harvick, that was a DNF, right? Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, that was not good. And then Mr. Ryan Blaney, P7. So I had a P2, a DNF, a P7, a Ford manufacturer win, and my dark horse, Reddick, P5. Logan was hot today. Minus the Harvick one, that's pretty hot. What about you?
Yeah, so I just had yours pulled up. Let me grab mine. So I decided to lock mine in, a few minutes before race officially went green. So like Logan, my locks were Blaney. Also had Harvick, completely coincidental. And then I had Christopher Bell. Manufacturer locked in Ford as well, which is another W for me in the manufacturer column, but we can wait to get to that. And then Dark Horse went Chastain. All right. Ross Chastain finished P13. So not the best in terms of finishing there for my Dark Horse, but it's a Dark Horse.
So
what are you going to do?
You could say we both had a pretty good day. I did come up on top, technically, if you're going off the P's and everything. just slightly, but
I go I go off wins, so manufacturer dub. It's really
so right now,
the-
and we are keeping track of this now. So far, none of us have a correct driver.
Nope.
Jordan has now two manufacturers. I have one as of today, my first dub, and neither of us have a dark horse. So,
And like we discussed, the dark horse, the likelihood of us actually connecting on a dark horse is
yeah,
slim.
it's gonna happen. I mean,
It's
Reddick
going to
is
happen, but slim.
very slim. I'm just gonna get into it real quick. So, I was rooting big time for Brad Keselowski. See that little car up there? It's a Brad Keselowski car. I'm a big Brad fan. I'm not gonna lie. As of this season, I'm a big Brad fan, and I have him in my playoff lock. And man, those last, what was it, 20 laps? Dude, we were rooting big time. Well, I was. Jordan, something told me he wasn't. He
No, I was
doesn't even
hating.
have a playoff pick, so I
I
don't
was
think
hate.
for him.
Yeah, I was hating on the Keselowski pick. Can't lie. A little bit of bias came into play because I didn't have him in my 16, which, in hindsight, it's going to make me look stupid because he's a good driver. I will give him that. But the end there, I am just that alone is
That made up the race, honestly.
exactly. I agree. That right there was enough to sway my opinion on if this was a good race or not because of the finish. It's not how you start; it's how you finish. And Keselowski, he got final lap. Well, I don't quote me. Final
Oh, it
lap,
was.
or was it? It was
It
okay. That's what I thought.
Final lap. He
And
was
who
leading.
other?
Joey hit on the turbo and passed him, and that was crazy. And don't get us wrong, we are both Joey Logano fans. We
Yes.
just met him last week. Great guy. So yes, we're happy, and we both have him as a playoff lock. So that's another green in our playoff spots. You have him right. So
Yes.
I'm not even just going off.
Come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
YouTube channel, of course.
Yeah. What are we doing?
For me personally, that win didn't feel as sweet. I was really going for Keselowski right there, and Joey just hit the turbo on him and ended it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Great car this weekend.
Yeah, that was well, I mean, also too, we should just also like factor in. We didn't mention it, but Logano dominated that race. I just pulled up the stats here, and he led 140 of the laps. So
Stage one, right? Didn't he?
did he? I'm not
I know
sure actually.
Cedric was too. Right?
I'm not sure. I would. I'd have to take a look. I don't know if I have the stat in front of me.
I'll let you get those stats in. I'll continue the conversation. But
I'm not getting those stats in. Stats aren't going to happen. I can't pull them up.
you're not the stat guy. Okay.
I'm not the
Well,
stat guy.
Regardless, he did like what you just mentioned. How many? 150 laps or whatever.
140. Yep. Yes, sir.
140, yeah. He dominated today, and it was
Yeah.
kind of interesting though because in the back 20, he was getting close, and then he kind of fell back to what? Didn't he go back to like fifth or something for a little bit?
Yeah, I think it had something to do with the line he was taking. I know the broadcast booth, which we don't need to get into the broadcasting today. We probably will, but they were saying the high line, top line, had all the traction, had all the speed, and for whatever reason, Joey was just riding the bottom. I don't understand. Clearly, it had no effect on the outcome, but he's the professional. He's the professional, and I'm going to let him. He's making those decisions. I'm going to trust him, and clearly it worked out. But
He knows better than two guys with a NASCAR podcast. I'll take his decision over ours big time.
yeah, I'm going to trust Joey. I don't know if I'm qualified to give Joey advice on how he should be running for the race, but
And
neither here nor
clearly
there.
it worked, too. You got the dub in Atlanta. That was awesome. Any shockers with the win? The one shocker I thought that just blew me away. Shout out to LaJoy. That is insane. You got
Career finish?
P4. P4.
That's a career finish for him, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh. I mean, he is one of our rivals, in the podcasting sector, stacking pennies. They're one of our rivals, but man,
No,
hats off to him. Literally, I mean, P4, that was a great finish for him. I really didn't see that coming.
no need to name drop our competitors' podcast either. We don't need to give them free publicity. Joking, of course, because LaJoy only has slightly more viewership than us, maybe just ever so slightly, just a little bit. But yeah, good finish from him. He snuck in there. I honestly didn't even realize until the end. I looked up and saw the top 10. I'm thinking, LaJoy, all right, that's great. I didn't really expect that. And Ty Gibbs, another one, P9, not bad.
That is that's easily, obviously, in his Cup Series career, that's the best he's ended too. So good for him. Eric Jones, a quiet P8. That's pretty good. My dark horse Tyler Reddick, I think he was P16, so it's nothing crazy or whatever. But P5. He is starting to build some traction. Definitely, he's doing good. Bubba, on the other hand, good lord.
Ooh.
Besides Daytona earlier this year, he has not been doing good. A couple DNFs. Excuse me, one DNF, I think. But he's not doing good. So 23-11 right now is looking pretty rough.
Yeah, I'm thinking there's going to be a little change into the guard. I know that Bubba has always been the guy over there.
Yeah,
but I'm thinking it's Reddick's team. I'm thinking, on every team there's 1A and there's 1B. I'm thinking Reddick's kind of turning into that 1A.
I'm certain.
But
so.
It's early. It's too early to tell, but it's I could see that switch happening sooner rather than later.
Don't get me wrong, too. I am a Bubba fan. I literally have a flag of him in my room right here. But, I mean, this is, we can go on kind of a side conversation, but this is a make or break year for him, without a doubt.
You think so?
Well, I mean, not like anything's going to happen, but I think for his career and kind of his legacy or whatever, he needs to win a race this regular season. He did not make playoffs last year. He's only technically won one race. Okay, no, he won that playoff race last year. Remember that. He did win that, which doesn't matter at all. But before that, he has only won one other Cup Series race in his whole career.
Wow. Which race was it? Do you have it in front of you? I can't remember.
Don't quote me on it, but it's either Talladega or Daytona, and I think it's Talladega. And dude, why
he backed into it.
It was the rain. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That
he was the leader, and everyone doesn't like to give him, his flowers and stuff for that. But technically, it came down as a win. But I mean, then he got the playoff race, which doesn't matter at all. So I think this year, he really, really needs to prove it.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you on that. Again, I'm not the biggest Bubba fan by any means.
Any particular reason?
Just one of those drivers. I think, like you and I were discussing, we definitely have a few drivers that we are not a fan of. One of them for me is Keselowski. Can't really tell you why. He hasn't done anything to me personally, but I'm not the biggest Keselowski fan. Not a big Bubba fan.
Did you hear his post-race interview?
I did. Yeah, I did. He seems like a nice guy. Again, he's done nothing to me personally. Just not the biggest fan. I'm just not. It's one of those things. Another name, Alex Bowman. I'm sorry. I'm not the biggest. I'm not trying to start any controversial beef within the NASCAR ranks. I know we have a voice here and we have a platform, but Bowman, just I don't know. A few drivers.
I totally understand too, and you're exactly right too. We got a voice and we have a pretty big platform, so I don't want to get things skewed or anything like that. But I'm kind of with you on that too. It's just I'm not I don't know. I'm with you with the Alex Bowman one. And the Alex Bowman, I'm sorry if you were listening to this, nothing personal at all.
Nope.
I'll even back you up by saying I'm not a fan of Kyle Larson. That's like the one, and that's out of. I'm a hater for that too because I respect all of them, of course, but I respect Kyle Larson that he's great, and that's almost probably why I don't like him. But I don't know. Another one I wanted to mention too. Both the rookies did good today. Gibbs at 9 and Graxton at 12. Best Cup Series finish for him as well.
Yeah, looking good. I'm hoping this can be a slingshot opportunity for Noah here, and he can carry this momentum over. Because I need him to make the playoffs. All right, I have him in my 16. I would prefer to see a playoff run by Noah and team there, but
curious, did you take Gibbs in your playoffs too?
No.
Or is it? Oh, it was just Noah.
I took one of the two. Took one. I figured one of them would have to go.
One other thing I wanted to mention too is what is happening with Toyota. I feel like I kind of should speak about this. I'm that Toyota guy. I kind of dig in the Toyota industry and stuff like that, and I'm not happy right now with how the Toyotas are performing.
No, you have the Toyota connections. What are they saying over there? Do you have any insight, any leads? Like, I'm curious. What's the issue?
So far, I'm not hearing much. They're kind of keeping it quiet right now. You're not going to air out your laundry of how you're not performing well. But we're about to be entering our 5th race of the season. And Chevy has won 4, questionably won 4. And then 4, they've won 3, And then just today, Ford won their first one. So, Toyota is without a win. And not looking good for them. I don't know. So far, the highest performer Toyota-wise, I would say, has been a toss-up between Christopher Bell and Tyler Reddick. Hamlin's been pretty good. He's been in the top 10-ish, been flirting with that, but my boy, number 19, Truex, he's not been doing good. I want to see where he ended today. Ooh, I'm going down a little bit. 19.
Hey, 19 for the number 19.
Good
All
one.
right, Logan, I just got to ask. All right, I'm going to just flip over here. What do we think of that caution that came out? And I'm not talking about the one that we're going to talk about next. It was the wreck. Are we thinking that Chastain wrecked Harvick on purpose? Was there any type of touching? I don't know if you had got to see a replay of it, but
I did. I think this is going to be our first argument. And you know me, I'm not a huge Chastain fan either. I think he's, no offense, but I do think he is kind of a dirty driver. But today, I think he was clear. I don't think he touched him. I saw the replay.
I agree.
I thought we were going to be on different views on this one.
No, not at all. I'm actually in full agreement. It was clean. Surprisingly, whenever you see a caution involving Chastain, you're just kind of waiting for it. I say that as a Chastain fan. But no, it looked clean. It looked like good, hard racing. He was just pushing and, just something with the aerodynamics, something with the draft, whatever the case may be. I can't speak to the scientific facts of it, but I don't think there's anything intentional on it at all.
Nope. I think it was pretty clean, and it sucks too because we were both Harvick fans, and that was his day right there. That resulted in a DNF, and that's tough. It's really tough.
Now I want to ask you about what are we thinking when we're watching a race under green flag racing, right? And we cut to a commercial, full screen commercial. And we come back, and the leader and the person immediately behind him, in this instance, it was Eric Almirola, and I believe Larson, are spinning out in the midfield and wrecked into the wall. And we go from good, clean racing to commercial to devastation. What do we think about that?
That was absolutely ridiculous because that race was a snooze fest. And the one glimpse of something fun, some action. We're watching an Applebee's commercial.
Yeah.
We were so pissed. We stood up. We were so pissed. It was ridiculous. It cut the commercial in half. They went straight to it.
It did.
But I see Amarola and Larson spinning out. We're like, dude, did we seriously just miss that? Are you kidding me? That was ridiculous. Like I've said before, I don't know how, but do it where, I'm sorry, if you have a commercial going on, have it just in the little side corner or something, just a small little section with their race at least still on. Something like that.
Yeah, that was ridiculous. I agree wholeheartedly. We were in the middle of getting the lowdown on the 2 for $20 from Applebee's, trying to figure out which entrees and sides and apps go together, and then we cut back and, Armarola's in the wall. It's pretty freaking ridiculous if you ask me. I don't know how to fix that though. Like, I know there's there's more smart people out there than, much smarter than I am. The little screen in the side, or like on the dual screens. Well, they do that already. You know what I mean? Like, they already have that as a solution to the full screen commercials. It's just,
they only do it occasionally though. They only do that occasionally. Have you noticed that though? That they only do that occasionally? And for basketball and stuff like that, when, it's free throws or whatever, okay, we'll cut to a commercial. They're still shooting the free throws. The commercial takes over the majority of the screen, but you could still see it. Personally, if it was me and if I was Jim France, I'd figure out something where I could possibly still have the grid going up top, still running through, the positions and everything. Then just a little box down in the corner, just resuming, just in case anything like that happens. But to have it full commercial where we have no insight on what's happening, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, I think also, just by kind of giving it some thought here while we're speaking, I think another option that they could look at, and I don't know what the logistics of this would be with the commercial providers and all that stuff. Yeah. But just, why are we going to commercials during anything under green? You know what I mean? Why even go to commercial during that at all? Why not save it? Because there's sure enough cautions, and there's sure enough, enough stage breaks and stuff like that where they can get the allotted amount of commercials in that they need. Why do we ever need to go to commercial under green flag?
That's just not possible, because that's where they're getting their money, obviously, is from the commercials. And you've seen it too. What if they only did that for Phoenix, where if it was under, caution or stage train, there would have been 3 commercials throughout the whole race.
Yeah, you're right.
To the very ending. It's just not possible. You got to work with the networks as well as the NASCAR, the product itself, and find a nice medium. What can you do to make it better? And I really think it's got to be a compromise between the two, because and the people that are getting hurt the most are the fans, like you and me, watching it, and we completely miss out on that,
Yeah, and, of course, Mike Joy, he's probably going to call us some keyboard warriors because, we're criticizing the broadcast a little bit. We're criticizing the commercial breaks, but I think we owe it to voice the displeasures that we have as next generation fans of the sport. Little play on words to our podcast name there, no big deal. Because it just does a disservice, and it's all we hear is how they want to grow the sport, but you can't grow the sport if we're watching a Cialis commercial and the leader of the race is getting spun out.
You're funny.
I'm sorry. Am I wrong? Am I wrong though?
You're not wrong. And you know what? No offense to Mike Joy too, but who cuts his check? Obviously, he's going to be telling us that we're wrong and stuff. Fox is cutting his check, and how is he getting his check? From the commercials. And kind of while we're talking about it again, I am not a fan of Fox, and how they cover NASCAR has been it's pain. I like Clint Boyer, but man, dude, that guy does not stay focused, and he doesn't give the attention where attention is due. It's crazy, dude. Like, a crazy crash off, and then he won't say anything or nothing too exciting. But then when nothing's happening, then he's all wild, and then you're hearing Tony Stewart breathe through the mic. Like, dude, Fox is a complete mess when it comes to the coverage of NASCAR, and they really need to. And no offense to all of them, I'm a big fan of all of them. Again, but
relax on the Tony Stewart slander. All right, I don't want to hear it. We had a lively debate on our man Tony, and we won't get into it. No,
not on.
Absolutely not. But enough with the slander. All right, Tony, he's doing his best. Okay, he had to watch some pretty rough results from the Stewart-Haas team today.
Haas boys.
If I'm not mistaken,
biased at all.
Oh no, I'm he had to sit there and not be biased at all while his team is getting wrecked into the wall, and Priest is down 9 laps to end it. So, or I don't know what he ended, of course, but it wasn't good. It was a bad day for
P28.
I know he ended P28, but can you see how many laps?
He did get last.
Did it show what his laps down were though? If you can, I don't know if
I can't see it now, but not looking good.
No, not at all. It was a terrible race from those boys. Whoa. And let me see. I want to double check really quick. Yeah, Briscoe, P24. I knew it. Armarola and Harvick, they were the ones who they had a chance and just. Well, I digress. What were you going to say? I didn't mean to interrupt you there.
Nope, you're good. I think, do you have any other closing comments with the NASCAR, at least?
No, sir.
One thing I'll give a heads up to. Oh, wait, well, I think we would be wrong if we didn't mention it, but that Xfinity race was kind of funny. What was his name? Oh, it was funny. He was a DNF, obviously. I could pull it out if I see it. We don't really watch Xfinity too much, but was it?
I watched it more last year. Watched it more last year when Gibbs and Gragson were going head to head most of the year.
Yeah.
He was entertaining.
Josh Williams. He was funny, and I've never even heard of this guy before, but yeah, he parked his car right on the start finish line. I don't know. It's funny. I saw a Twitter conversation between him and Denny said he'd pay for his fines for it.
Yeah, I saw that he was also getting a little bit of recognition from Antonio Brown. If any of the listeners are fans of football, and yeah, Antonio Brown actually either quoted it or said something, but he did exactly what Antonio Brown did. It was almost to a T, walking off.
Too funny.
Yeah, he gave the peace sign and walked off, and he got Antonio's attention, which I don't know if you want, truth be told, but
that's a good thing or not.
Yeah.
One thing I wanted to talk about too, just preparing us for next week. We are at Circuit of America. Are you familiar too much with it? This is COTA, right? Isn't that the name for it? COTA? Yeah. Duh. Circuit of the Americas. COTA.
Where is that?
I'm looking at it right now. I should be able to see what it is, but surprisingly, I don't. And it's not a. Is it a road course? God, we sound
Circuit of Americas is
right
going to be. That's also when Jimmy Johnson's going to jump in the car. Okay, that's going to be an awesome race. Cool.
It's in Austin, Texas.
Awesome. That's amazing. Okay, cool.
Is it a road course, dude?
I would assume so.
Whatever. Sorry, we got off on a little bit of a track, but yes, it is a road course too. First one of the year, man, dude. Oh, I'm stoked.
Don't mind my co-host. He got off on a little tangent. We'll get back on track here.
A little nugget for you, Jordan. Actually, COTA. This is where Formula One. This is where they race F1 at. Is here. You know
Really?
that? Yep.
I did not know that. Seriously? I guess that makes
That's
total sense, though.
yeah, because it's in
Wow,
Austin. So
oh, that is really cool. That's a good nugget. Okay, cool. I didn't even realize that. That's dude.
we'll use
And
that as a transition into F1. How's that sound?
it sounds great.
Okay.
I don't know if you
Start
saw
him.
this either. Yeah, I was gonna say I don't know if you saw because I know we had a few things we had to do today. Not pod. We don't need to get into it on the pod, but um, when the race ended, obviously, we saw Checo got the dub, which was awesome. Logan and I are big fans of Checo. Max came in, got P2, which surprise, surprise, the dude is just a killer. You could line him up anywhere; he's gonna finish on the podium. And then we saw P3, Fernando Alonso in the Aston Martin. What we didn't see, because we were on a little bit of a time delay by about 20 minutes, no big deal, was that got rescinded. And George Russell got that spot. Alonso got that 10-second time penalty for not, coincidentally enough, serving his time penalty correctly in the middle of the race. So it gave George Russell the podium. However, I'm getting to my point. Did you see what happened? It's okay if you didn't. I just saw it a few hours ago as well.
Hmm.
They rescinded it
What?
again.
Okay, I was
Alonso.
just about to say, dude, what? Because I'm looking at it right now and it
Yeah,
still shows Alonso. I'm like, where are you going with this?
yeah. So Alonso gets podium, P3, all
Yeah.
good, does the trophy celebration. An hour later, they give it to Russell because of an incorrectly served penalty. All good,
Yeah.
okay. Russell has P3. And then 2 hours later, they say, no, actually, it was served correctly. Alonso gets his podium back.
Oh my, that is so messy.
I know, I agree. You would think, you know,
I'm sorry, that sounds like something that would come from NASCAR. I could expect that from NASCAR. You would not expect that from F1. F1 is polished, professional, and that is just so sloppy.
yeah, that I agree completely.
Man, that's funny because I
Uh,
was looking at the results. I'm like, dude, I don't know if Google is wrong or whatever, but it has Alonso at 3. But oh my God, what a mess. What do you think about that?
yeah, I agree. I think that was an absolute mess. But at the same time, I actually like it better. It works out in my favor just because I'm a little bit of a Fernando Alonso fan. Sue me. I'm a fan
100%.
of the yeah, I'm a fan of the GOAT. It's all good. Uh, but yeah, that's just sloppy work. Expected more from Formula One. Not a big deal. Um, what do we think? What did you think about the race? I know, obviously, a little bit in the middle there. It was a little slow, only because Red Bull is so freaking dominant that
Yeah.
this top spot is just unattainable. I don't know who's going to catch Red Bull this year, but do you have any thoughts on the race? Anything you want to discuss?
I thought it was an excellent race. I actually did find it pretty entertaining. I think it's just crazy that Verstappen started P15, and it's almost just expected now. He has a spot on the podium every single race. No, he could literally start at the very bottom P20, and you still wouldn't count him out to be on the podium. He's just that good. The Red Bull car is just built like a rocket, and no, I'm really glad to see Checo get his flowers this week. He's always seen, obviously, when you're driving with Verstappen as the second man, but for him to come up in Saudi Arabia and get a win, I'm really happy for him. So yeah, Red Bull, off to a great start. I'm a Red Bull fan. I think I'm pilling you to become a Red Bull fan. I just gave you that flag today. I injected it into your house, so I'm thinking you're becoming a Red Bull fan. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a slight Red Bull fan. I'm not gonna jump on the bandwagon yet because my loyalty remains with Haas.
Yeah.
Or as I should say, Haas for
Haas.
my European listeners.
Love
Um,
that.
but Yeah, we'll just, I'll peep the Red Bull from, here and then. Definitely not complaining about them getting any W's. So I am curious how it's going
Yeah.
to shape up towards the end of the year between Max and Checo, because that relationship's already looking a little dicey. I mean, I know, you put the team first, but that last lap, Max stealing fastest lap from Checo, I don't know. I want to give it a few days to let everything marinate and see if anything comes out that Max came in and what the team was directing him to do. Because as it sits now, Checo would have been ahead of Max in the standings, but Max has a 1 point lead. He currently has 44 points versus Sergio's
Really?
43.
Oh, oh.
So
Well, Max is
it's
their golden child. They don't want to do any. They will. I'm sorry, but Sergio is
factual.
like the redheaded stepchild in that relationship. They're 10 times out of 10, actually, they are going to put Max in front all the time. So,
Yeah, no, I agree completely.
but I think he
I
understands that too. I think Checo understands when you're with someone of that skill level like Verstappen, you understand that. So I think their relationship is getting better and everything. I mean, hard to tell. I don't know. You're the F1 guy. You have the connections in F1, so you tell me.
Not a lot of connections in F1. I just go by what my eyes and heart tell me, and it looks rocky. But I do agree with you. I mean, it's you got to understand it's a business relationship at the end of the day. They
Yeah.
might not like each other personally. Like for example, I know I sent you the video. I don't know if you watched it, but Max's dad sitting there when Checo comes up and celebrating, and Max's dad, it looks like he got his dog just got ran over by a car in front of him. Like, you can be happy for your son's teammate. It's all good. So I don't
It's a
know, but
weird
that whole
dynamic. You got to admit, it is a weird dynamic for sure.
extremely. But yeah, enough Red Bull talk. I know that's about all it's all anyone talks about in F1, it seems like, anymore. Just lightly, I just wanted to touch on Charles Leclerc. It's a tough
Yeah.
start to the year for the Ferrari boys. As of now, he's sitting at 6 points on the year, and that's just not going to cut it. I know he obviously had, I believe, a grid box, some type of issue with his vehicle where obviously he had to start 10 positions down. But yeah, he finished P7. Not going to cut it for the Ferrari fans, and I know a couple of them personally. My girlfriend happens to be one, and she's not super stoked on the start to the year, but that's Ferrari. What are you going to do?
I'm sorry, I gotta look at that. Where did you say? Leclerc. God, I can't even speak right now. He's eighth right now in points.
No, in points he's actually
Is he
yes,
eighth?
he's eighth. Yep. He has 6 points on the year. Yep. And
Yikes.
coming in 13th. I would be remiss if I don't mention I'm a big K-Mag fan. Kevin Magnussen, 13th
12th.
so far.
12th.
Alex Albon, he has a point. I don't know how they would do that. He's tied for 12th, then I guess.
They got him. They got him in at 12th.
Okay, I'm seeing 13 on my side, but not a big deal. I'll take it. 12, 13. HTO Lean, same thing. So yeah, I great race from the Haas boys. Nico Hulkenberg is also looking pretty stellar. Definitely an upgrade over Schumacher, but that's neither here nor there. I'm excited for next week. Got the Australian GP ahead of us. Not next week, it's the week
Next week
after.
or the following week, right?
Week after, yep.
April 1st.
Excited for that. Got Coda on the schedule for
Bro,
next weekend.
one thing to mention too, that Australian GP starts at 10 p.m.
Oh, no way.
Wow,
Dude, we are getting...
would that could be on? No, that's okay, bro. That's on a Saturday. That'll be
Oh,
on a
that's amazing.
Saturday. Oh,
Well,
yeah, we will be getting together for that one for sure.
we'll be discussing... we'll get the logistics figured out on that guy.
Oh, that's gonna be sick. Can't wait. We got NASCAR the next week. Oh, it's gonna be awesome. Do you got any other closing comments? Do we want to talk about the channel just a tad bit?
I was definitely, a little long-winded today. I think we covered a bit.
Nope.
I have nothing more to say. I will plug. Go ahead if you still made it with us this far in the podcast. I know we had a little longer of an episode today. Follow us on Twitter, Next Gen Burnouts. Follow us on YouTube, same handle, Next Gen Burnouts. Weekly podcast.
One thing I'll mention too. This week, we are launching our podcast. We have strictly been on YouTube so far, and we are officially sometime this week, you can count on it, we will be live on Apple Podcasts. So keep an eye out for that. My boy J-Max, he's working out, ironing out all the details, but he's going to be running the podcast. You know me, I'm running the YouTube right now, and we're going live. It's going to be exciting. We might end up doing a giveaway for that. I don't know, but we are officially going on Apple Podcasts. So, drop a like, subscribe, share, tell your friends. We're taking over this year, 2023, the year of the Burnouts, baby.
Yes, sir. I love it. Thanks, Burnouts. We'll see you guys next week. Can't wait to do it again.
On that note, you guys take it easy. We'll talk to you later.